A Pluralist Order by Common Man. Chapter 10. How do we put it all together? Imagine a square room where each of the four walls have the same surface area as the floor and ceiling. Every surface is painted the purest white. In the middle of the room, suspended motionless from the ceiling, on a string, is a beach ball. The beach ball has one green stripe, one red stripe, one blue stripe, one orange stripe, with bands of white separating each colored stripe. There are 4 chairs in the room surrounding the beach ball, each placed facing a different colored stripe an equal distance away. 4 blindfolded students of equal ability are then brought into the room and sat in a chair before having their blindfold removed. Each student can see 3 wedges of the beach ball, 2 white wedges with 1 colored wedge in the center. The students are then given a writing utensil and a blank sheet of paper and asked to describe the entire ball, not just the portion they are able to see. One can see how it would be impossible for any one student to get the answer correct, as they do not have all the information necessary. The parable continues by noting that 2 of the students make their best guess based on the information provided. One student had drawn a ball with 4 red sections, and the second student drew a ball with 4 green sections. A third student assumes that the orange section is just a line that continues around the surface of the white ball. The final student, having seen a beach ball somewhere else before, makes a valiant effort to describe the ball. Unfortunately, added to blue were the incorrect colors of pink, purple, and yellow. This parable is designed not only to show that any human being is limited by the information available, but also to train educators on how to properly assess students in such a situation. Unfortunately, most of our political discourse is shaped like this experiment. We all have limited and differing information based on our own experiences. If the educator wanted his pupils to get the correct answer, they would allow the students to move freely about the room or work in groups. The exercise, however, is not designed so that the students get the correct answer. Why have we established such an arena for political discourse? To promote a better world and provide a better future to our children, we must find a way to promote civil political debate. A study of history shows that many political conflicts are caused by seeing new innovations in society from these limited perspectives. Take, for instance, our example of the conflict between Jefferson and Hamilton. Both were staunch advocates of natural law and republicanism. In the Age of Enlightenment, however, these were populist sentiments. Knowledge of Locke, Hobbes, and Montesquieu was not monopolized by the elites in their ivory towers. Still, Jefferson saw the purpose of government in this new age was to protect the masses from the oppressive elites. Hamilton believed the purpose of government to be protecting property rights against the destructive masses. The true purpose of government in that age, as evidenced by our Constitution, was balancing these interests. That enlightened world was then rocked by the Industrial Revolution, a revolution of technology that allowed for greater centralization of economic and political power. Around this time, there was a civil war in the United States. Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels then put out their response to this revolution in the Communist Manifesto. Even John D. Rockefeller saw the opportunity and embarked on his plan to establish the Standard Oil monopoly. Ironically, it was this titan of capitalism that said combination was the way of the future. All of this due to drastic changes in technology and people assuming differing implications of their adaptation. Marx and Engels saw these changes as allowing the working class to seize control of the centralization of industry and government. Rockefeller, however, saw the ease with which capital could take this control. They were both right, without either being fully correct. There was just no way to gauge all implications of the new technology. In many ways, workers and capital would be forces that would largely balance one another out, in both the United States and in the Soviet Union. Though some of the isms that arose out of this collectivism movement have fallen by the wayside, namely communism and fascism, there are still disputes between advocates of corporate capitalism and socialism. Will the wars of collectivism, World Wars I and II, reignite as new technologies make the system obsolete? War is not inevitable, but never impossible. The rate of change creates chaos and provides more opportunities for violent takeovers. As the technologies of what Jeremy Rifkin calls the Third Industrial Revolution coalesce, the likelihood for attempted usurpations of power increase. As individual citizens, what can we possibly do to prevent chaos or wars? For the answer, let's refer to Henry Kissinger's book, World Order. Kissinger begins this book with a discussion of the Peace of Westphalia, a series of treaties bringing to an end the 30 Years' War. The 30 Years' War was primarily a result of the chaos surrounding the Protestant Reformation, itself largely the result of new printing technologies. Princes of the former Holy Roman Empire, whether because of religious zeal or pure opportunism, saw the Reformation as the chance to expand their power base. This culminated in more than 30 years of total warfare in the heart of Europe between the forces of Protestantism and Catholicism. This late medieval battle of isms did have at least one positive result through the series of peace treaties that brought this war to an end. The Peace of Westphalia created a pluralist world order within Europe, which largely kept peace on the continent until the Napoleonic Wars. Of course, there were negative consequences to this peace as well. As Europeans came to peace with one another, they began to seek war on other continents. As they colonized, they also imposed their own vision of order on the rest of the world. The European-dominated world order only began to change with the Bretton Woods Accords at the end of World War II. The Bretton Woods order was still far too dominated by Western powers to be considered a truly global order. What we need today, and will have one way or another, is a pluralist global system of world order. In conclusion, we must find room for all the diverse isms of our multicultural world. The only true way to do so is through the method already prescribed. The individual is sovereign, and popular sovereignty reigns supreme. The local government must take precedence to the regional, as the regional to the national, then the national to the world. New technologies have necessitated great changes. Will there be a war for control? Can the masses and elites compromise? Vote for compromise.